Hello, welcome back to underKG show. Today we got Cube Talk 79. This is a Chinese tablet from the company called whatever. Can't read that. All right, on the front is this actually kind of reminds me of some. Kind of looks like an iPad Mini. It actually on the protective film that it came with it had the line that says 7.9 inch, just like the iPad Mini. Yeah, and it even looks like one. On the top is a noticeable receiver right there, meaning that you can actually place calls and talk on this tablet, and even send and receive text messages as well. So that's the receiver. 2 megapixel front-facing camera with the sensors and the 7.9 inch of an underKG display that's 1024 by 768. No home button there. That's an Android, so it's got a soft key built in inside, and this diamond cutted edges here, does remind me of some. And on the right is a power key with the volume rocker and the micro SIM card slot right there. And this is there is a little nick over here, and I'm sure it's not from the shipping, because the box did look pretty sturdy. Kind of makes me think that the quality check isn't exactly in place. And there's a micro SD card slot for storage expansion, and on the top is a 3.5mm headphone jack. On the back is this antenna that looks just like the one from the iPad Mini. That's a 5 megapixel camera with the autofocus, and this is the logo of the company, and the Talk 79, and 2000 milliamps of 2000 milliamps of battery. On other spec sheets it says 4500. Don't know which one's right, but the battery lasts pretty good actually. And there's some kind of certificate right there. And on the bottom is a micro USB port, flipped upside down, and the speaker right there. And that's pretty much it. Just like an Android version of the iPad Mini. And turning it on gives us the stock lock screen of the Android, and the launcher, this guy is Apex launcher, but the original launcher it came with it looks pretty much stock anyway. So that's it. And the overall interface is pretty much like the stock Android, except for the fact that it does have few menus that most of the MediaTek devices has. In fact, this guy has MediaTek quad-core processor and a gigabyte of RAM and 16 gigabytes of storage built in inside. And unlike the previous MediaTek devices, the new MediaTek quad-core does actually do a pretty nice job. And loading up a web page is not as bad as we've seen on the older devices. This is actually on 3G network right now, so don't expect to have like the fastest speed in the world. Connecting it to the Wi-Fi is going to make it bring faster, but we're kind of testing on the 3G network right now as well, so stay with us. And the overall performance is okay, and the other apps run just fine. Don't lag when I say it's fine. I never launched Google Maps, so it's kind of sagging in there. But overall performance is just fine. Their lags are not there. Lags are hardly noticeable. So the basic performance seems to be fine. The thing that matters here is the problem that Chinese tablets and the phones had for a long time is that they don't exactly perform as their specifications claim that they do. But nowadays, up to the MediaTek quad-core processors and the 1 gigabyte of RAM, they kind of work in the way that they're supposed to. The only problem here is that the basics are fine, but the multimedia parts are still lagging a bit. The 5 megapixel camera on the back seems to do an okay job with the loud shutter sound, but the front-facing camera is just terrible. It's just like the webcam that you had like 10 years ago, and it's no better than that. Don't expect on that. And the speaker quality, the volume of the speaker is actually fine. It's loud enough, but the quality is below average, and the sound with the 3.5mm headphone jack on the top is terrible. That's simply put, terrible. And aside from that, it does the basic jobs, and the most interesting part of this tablet is that it actually makes phone calls. Not only it accepts SIM cards, but it also makes phone calls and receives and sends text messages as well. Of course, the multi messages as well. So you can place the phone call and you can actually put it on your face since there's a receiver on the top like that. If you can actually handle that, I suggest you not to put a tablet on your face, but you can do that. And that's a pretty niche market, and they're doing a pretty good job on that. So as I said, overall performance seems to be fine, and even I ran a benchmark right there. I ran the Antutu and it scores about 12,000. That's about a little bit faster than Galaxy S2 and a little bit slower than the HTC One X with the Tegra 3. And calling it slower than Tegra 3 sounds like it doesn't sound that good, but it performs quite good. Let me run a random app. That's a music app built in, and the Play Music app right there. And they work fine. And the display itself is not as bad as I thought. Well, this is actually quite better than I expected. Although XGA isn't exactly the best screen resolution, and yeah, you guys should be familiar with it because this is the resolution that the iPad mini, the older generation iPad mini had. And it looks like this when shown on the screen. And it's okay. We've been fine with the iPad mini, although it does look like a piece of junk after the launch of the mini Retina, but it's okay. So, with the exceptional function of the phones and the messages, this is an interesting tablet. The only problems that I have with this guy is design. Come on, like I don't expect you new companies to be creative or like have fancy design or anything, but you don't have to look like an iPad mini, and you completely do. And the only problem that I had with this guy after is okay performance and the cheap price. This guy is around like 170 bucks. The new one costs about that. Cost is good, performance is okay, and the battery life is actually pretty decent because most of the Chinese phones and the tablet had a terrible battery life. Now they don't. So I'm fine with that. The only problem I have is the design. I found myself really embarrassing carrying this iPad-looking Android tablet. It's, God, please. So aside from that, I do see a chance of these Chinese manufactured devices to do a good job on the market. So as long as they don't look like a fake, I think they have a chance. Because not many 7.9-inch tablets actually does make phone calls. So aside from that, I'm actually pretty happy with this for its price. So that was underKG, and don't forget to subscribe by tapping on there. And on the third line is our Facebook link. So tap on that, and we'll see you guys next time at the review. Thank you all for watching. Bye.